and welcome to the Light and Energy Show with me, Claire Wiles. We're here in my kitchen tonight as we're doing some vegetarian cooking for the winter, and I've got some lovely friends with me that are going to enjoy the meal after we've eaten. Firstly, I'd like to say, for all those chefs out there, I'm just a vegetarian mum who cooks. So if you're a cordon bleu chef, you might want to look away while we're doing the cooking bit. Anyway, let's make a start. The first thing I'm going to make is a warming hazelnut and celery soup. So the first thing that we're actually going to do with our soup is heat some oil in the pan. Now I like to use an omega cooking oil, high five omega cooking oil, because of the essential fatty acids. Very good for cell health. Now this soup, although it's called a warming hazelnut and celery soup, it's very good for the winter. And of course celery is very anti-inflammatory. So again, very good for anybody with arthritis or perhaps even circulatory problems. So I'm just going to fry the onion in the oil until it's softened. And while that's softening, I've got here some stock to make sort of the liquidy part of the soup, but what I'm adding to it is silken tofu, and silken tofu is a much softer tofu than the block variety. It's really good if you're a vegetarian to use some soya in your diet. It's a really good source of protein. And often I find with vegetarians is one of the things they don't have is enough protein. So an easy use of soya is within cooking. So we're just going to put about half of the block of tofu in there. Of my guests tonight, do you have any experiences of using tofu within your cooking?
I've used it stir fries.
And do you use the block variety, Maureen?
I have done in the past, but I have just got some of that.
Have you? Yeah.
I've used the block, but never the silken.
I've not used either because I don't quite know what to do.
Well, hopefully after tonight you'll have a good idea. So I'm just going to blend this up a little bit. That should be enough for now. Okay. So I'm going to add the celery to my onions. And let that just soften for a couple of minutes. Soups are just the thing to have on a very cold winter's day, especially when you get home from work and you need something that's fairly quick and filling. We're going to add some chopped hazelnuts, ground hazelnuts actually I should have said, and these are just very finely ground. Hazelnuts again are very good for a vegetarian diet, as are all nuts, but hazelnuts are very high in lots of vitamins and minerals and the good fats that we all need that are so important, and also of course some protein. So I'm going to add those to our mixture. And in goes our stock with the tofu. Now I'm also going to add some Himalayan organic herb salt rather than salt and pepper, just to add a little bit more flavour there. Right, and we're just going to leave that simmering away for 20 minutes. So the next thing I'm going to make while that's cooking is winter vegetables with cashew nuts. And this again is a very good recipe for anybody who's busy, because you can actually make the sauce and freeze it, and then all you need to do is steam some vegetables and add the sauce to it. So very easy to do. So in here I've got some parsnips that are actually boiled until they're soft. And I'm going to blend them with some soya milk. We need, with the soya milk, to use about a half a litre or so. And I'm just going to trying very hard to cover myself in soy milk, parsnip in the process. And as you can see, this comes out a little bit sort of like a mashed potato consistency almost. We're now going to add some butter to the pan. And with these recipes this evening, what I've done is I've used vegan margarine and I've used chickpea flour. So that way they're not only suitable for vegetarians, but they're also suitable for vegans and also anybody with a gluten intolerance. But you can use ordinary butter or goat's butter, whatever you like. So we're just melting our vegan margarine there. And I'm going to add the chickpea flour. And some onions and garlic, some lovely fresh chopped parsley that smells absolutely gorgeous. I'm actually going to put in now a teaspoon of mace. One of the things that often people say to me about vegetarian cooking is that it can be quite bland, but by the use of some lovely herbs and spices, it really needn't be. So we're using mace and coriander. Giving my soup a quick stir there. Okay. And we're going to add our lovely parsnip and soya milk. cashew nuts. Now this lovely rich thick sauce here, as I say, you can freeze this really easily. So if you're going to make some, it is worth making a batch. And then if you have had a busy day, all you need to do is steam some vegetables, put the sauce on the top, put it in the oven, and there you are, it's done. So I've got here some potatoes that have been lightly boiled. And some steamed carrots. And leeks. And sweet. You don't have to use root vegetables within this dish if you don't want to, but I'm a firm believer that we should be eating with the seasons. Nature provided us with everything that we need around us, and it's very healthy to live within that philosophy. So I'm going to top the vegetables now with this sauce. Give it a nice mix up. As you can see, it's an incredibly easy dish to make. And you can add all sorts of things to it to vary it. I'm going to cover it with foil. And pop it in the oven. Now the next thing I'm going to make is a versatile, tasty stuffing. And stuffed vegetables are such a fantastic way of actually having a really nice, tasty meal that again is really easy. If I'm actually making some stuffing, I will make a huge batch of it and freeze it in little containers, so that at any time I want to have something like stuffed peppers or mushrooms or courgettes, all I need to do is take the stuffing out of the freezer and stuff the vegetables. Okay. So again, more oil. And we're going to fry the onions and the garlic. And also the carrot, chopped nice and finely. And the mushrooms. Until they're softened. While they're doing that, in this saucepan, I have a garlic and tomato sauce that I've pre-made. This recipe will be on the show notes for you to download. Again, another really easy sauce to make, and I've used chickpea flour to thicken it. And this sauce freezes really, really well. So again, you can make up a batch and keep it ready for when you need it. Now to that I'm going to add some already cooked brown rice. If you're going to use rice, it's really good to use wholemeal rice. If you use white rice, there's actually no nutrients left in it at all. So use something that's wholemeal or short grain brown rice or long grain brown rice. Lots of B vitamins in there. Vegetarians can often become very deficient in B vitamins, particularly B12. So they're water-soluble vitamins, so they're easily lost through the cooking process, and particularly things like B12. So if a vegetarian is perhaps particularly tired, lethargic, no energy, it's always worth having a look at the B vitamin status or putting in something like a simple B complex with B12 in it. I think that's just about done there. Okay, making sure I don't forget anything here. Now the breadcrumbs that I've got here are actually made from 100% rye bread. So for anybody with a wheat intolerance, these are fine. And we're going to put in some walnuts. Again, some extra protein. Some lovely chopped parsley. The colours are really gorgeous together, they look so lovely. And then we're going to add some spices. So we're adding some sage. Again, a little bit of mace. Some whole grain mustard. That's a really good addition to vegetarian cooking to add some more flavour. And also some tamari. Tamari is a type of soya sauce, but it's wheat, gluten and dairy free, so anybody with intolerances to wheat and gluten, again, are okay with using tamari instead of soya sauce. As you can see, I'm not always one for measuring things. Just pop it in and I'm sure the flavours will be good. And some tomato puree. And just to help mix all that together, we're going to put just a little tiny bit of stock just to bind it together. This is a really nice Christmassy dish. Now I've got here some peppers and some large mushrooms. And I'm going to put some stuffing into all of those, I guess, so that they can try both of them. As As you can see, it's incredibly quick and easy to make. These things will take just as long to make as it would be to take a ready meal out of the packet really and put it in the oven, and much better for you. Just another little word about vegetarians and proteins, or vegans really, and proteins. If you have no animal products in your diet at all, it's very important to actually eat a variety of foods, like for example eating rice and lentils and pulses, things like quinoa. That's an extremely good grain. The reason for that is something called protein complementarity, and as vegetarians we don't get all 8 essential amino acids that the body needs to function from one particular food source, whereas meat and fish do contain all 8 essential amino acids, but by combining foods we can actually make sure that we do have the adequate protein that we need. The exception to the rule is quinoa, which does contain all the protein we need, so again a really good addition. And on another programme I'll be making a variety of dishes using quinoa, both sweet and savoury. Right, I'm going to pop these in the oven. Okay, and we're just going to leave our sauce, our soup, for about 10 minutes to finish cooking. And then I will be blending it in order to serve. Okay, welcome back. Our soup is now ready to serve. I've blended it and then just slightly warmed it through again. So I hope everybody's hungry. Yes. Thank you.
You could have it as a meal, couldn't you?
You could, absolutely, yeah. So there you have it. That's the celery and hazelnut soup. So we'll just finish enjoying this and then we'll go back to the main course. Okay, so our main course has come out of the oven. I've reheated the garlic and tomato sauce, which I'm now pouring over the peppers and the mushrooms. Can you smell the garlic? Garlic, of course, as I'm sure that you've heard me say before, is actually incredibly good to have through the winter. Very good for the immune system. It's kind of the anti-plant because it's antiviral, antibacterial, and a bit antisocial if you have too much of it. Use this end. Okay, so we're just about to start our main course here. What does everybody think?
Oh, it's lovely. It looks very appetising. If I just try it now.
What better way to spend a winter's evening than in the company of friends eating healthy, home-cooked food?
It's lovely.
Can you taste the little garlic?
It's lovely also. Is it the mace that I've tasted here?
Yes, yeah.
It's really lovely.
Gives it a really nice taste.
Delicious.
So, thank you all for joining me this evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All of the recipes can be found on our show notes on www.thelightandenergychannel.tv, or of course find us on Facebook. So, Enlighten Energy from me, Claire Wiles. Goodbye.